Good morning, class.
Thank you.
Motherfucker, you broke my hand.
Shale, still out of work, heads to the beach to meet his girlfriend Jane, who's out for a jog. Suddenly, a man ambushes her from behind in a brutal attack. Before Shale can react, the attacker breaks Jane's leg. Shale manages to chase the assailant away, but the man escapes. Jane is rushed to the hospital and suspects Juan Lacus, the school's most unruly student and gang leader, is behind the attack. Shale vows that if Juan is responsible, he will make him pay. However, Jane urges Shale to stay calm and asks him to find another teacher to cover her class while she recovers. Shale tries contacting substitutes, but everyone is fully booked. So, with no one else available, he decides to step in himself. Without telling Jane, Shale forges a teaching certificate and enlists a contact to register him as a replacement. He even creates a fake identity, James Smith, an Ivy League graduate with a spotless resume. This is where the real fight begins, in a story known as The Substitute. A few days before the attack, before posing as a substitute teacher, Jonathan Shale was a hardened Vietnam War veteran turned mercenary. He was sent on a secret mission to Cuba with 7 men, but the operation quickly fell apart. 3 teammates were killed, and the U.S. government denied any involvement. The mission was abruptly shut down, leaving Shale and the survivors stranded, without support. Meanwhile, back in the U.S., Jane works as a dedicated teacher at Columbus High, a school that feels more like a war zone than a place of learning. Fights break out regularly, and Jane often steps in to stop them.
Mr. Tang, I want you out of here. Both of you, out!
Her efforts put her on the radar of the school's most dangerous gang. Their leader, Juan Lacus, does not take kindly to her interference. After one violent incident, he makes sure she knows he's watching her closely. Jane reports the incident to Principal Rawl, hoping he will take action. But without solid evidence, Rawl refuses, worried that any disciplinary measures might lead to legal trouble. Frustrated and shaken, Jane walks to the parking lot, only to find Juan and his gang waiting for her. They surround her, shouting insults and almost attacking. Luckily, she escapes at the last moment and rushes home. After that encounter, Jane realizes her life might no longer be safe. Shale's first day teaching at Columbus High had finally arrived. He started his new job as a history teacher with a clear goal: to track down Juan Lacus and make him pay. Still, he kept a low profile, introducing himself to Principal Rawl and exchanging casual greetings on the way to his first class. But when he steps into the classroom, it's a mess and the students are worse. Chaos erupts as soon as he begins. The students mock him, ignore his instructions, and treat the classroom like a playground. It's clear they don't respect authority. Then Shale spots Juan Lacus. Not only is Juan in his class, but he fits every bad rumor: arrogant, cocky, and already pushing the limits. During break, Shale talks with Daryl, the English teacher, and Hannah, the librarian. Both believe Juan is behind the attack on Jane. It makes sense since Jane has been working hard to get Juan kicked out. After all, Juan runs the Kings of Destruction, the gang that controls the school. By now, Juan should have been suspended or expelled. However, Principal Rawl, a former cop turned educator, won't punish anyone without solid proof. Determined to find that proof, Shale asks Rawl for Juan's student file, but Rawl refuses. Temporary staff aren't allowed access to private records. During a longer conversation in Rawl's office, Shale begins to see things from the principal's perspective. Rawl explains that after witnessing so much bad as a cop, he switched to education to fix the system from within. He even ran for city council to push for bigger changes. Still, Rawl remains skeptical. He doesn't believe everything James Smith tells him. Realizing he needs more help, Shale contacts his old team to investigate some students. He's noticed several kids carrying cell phones and pagers, items they shouldn't be able to afford, and suspects drug money is involved. At first, Shale's mercenary crew hesitates. Working inside a school seems beneath them. But when they learn drugs might be involved, their attitude shifts immediately. Drugs usually mean money, and money is a good reason to get involved. They begin setting up hidden cameras around the school to gather evidence. Later that day, Shale returns to class with renewed confidence.
Good morning, class.
When some students test him, he quickly shuts them down. One pulls a knife, but Shale disarms him and painfully twists his fingers.
I know everything, and I don't allow weapons in here. Thank you.
Motherfucker, you broke my hand.
The kid screams that his hand is broken, but Shale simply tells him to go see the nurse. The whole class goes silent. Shale lays down the rules. Respect him or face the consequences. After gaining their attention, he starts teaching. He talks about the Vietnam War, America's role, and shares stories from his time as a soldier. Surprisingly, the students listen closely. Some even begin to respect, maybe even like him. However, Juan Lacus watches from the back, unimpressed and unfazed. Meanwhile, Principal Rawl hears about the trouble in Shale's class from a student who ran to the nurse. Expecting chaos, he heads over to check it out. Instead, he finds the students sitting quietly, fully focused on the history lesson. Seeing a substitute teacher command that kind of attention is rare. After class, Shale reviews the hidden camera footage, but Rawl reminds him that physical discipline is strictly forbidden at the school. Shale defends himself, saying he was only protecting himself. Rawl gives Shale 2 more weeks to prove himself. After that, he's out. Shale agrees that he never intended to stay long anyway. Although things seem to be improving in the classroom, Rawl grows increasingly suspicious of Shale. His teaching methods are unconventional, and something doesn't sit right. Rawl starts digging into Shale's background, unaware that Shale has already tapped the office phone. Now, Shale knows Rawl is watching him. Meanwhile, Jane has been released from the hospital, but Shale still hasn't told her the full truth about what he's doing at the school. Back in class, the students begin to respect Shale more. Jerome and Lisa see him as more than just a temporary teacher. On the other hand, Juan Lacus keeps stirring up trouble. One day, he arrives very late to class, but Shale doesn't let it slide. He makes Juan write, "I'm sorry," 100 times on the board. Then Shale uses the moment to talk about biker gangs, warning the class that joining gangs is a fast track to ruining your life. After class, Principal Rawl calls Shale in to meet after the faculty meeting. They discuss Juan's behavior and how Shale handled it without violence. While reviewing the hidden camera footage later, Shale catches Rawl secretly meeting Juan in the restroom. Even worse, Rawl tells Juan to kill Shale once their meeting ends. Now on high alert, Shale puts on a bulletproof vest under his shirt and walks out of the school looking nervous, baiting the trap. Juan and his gang chase him back inside, through the school halls. Rawl joins in and even orders 2 security guards to help Juan corner Shale. The chase leads straight into the library. Shale grabs one of the guards and uses him as a shield, then calmly orders the gang to place their guns on a nearby book cart. Hannah, who's been hiding nearby, is told to push the cart into her office. Shale then takes his own gun and locks it in a secure wall-mounted box. With everyone disarmed, Shale doesn't run. Instead, he lures Juan's gang deeper into the library. He hides behind a bookshelf and strikes suddenly. One by one, he quickly takes them down, throwing each out the upper floor window. It's brutal and fast. Only 2 gang members remain. One manages to grab Shale's gun from the security box and shoots him in the chest. Shale falls. Thinking it's over, Juan prepares to leave and tells his men to handle the librarian. But just as Juan turns away, Shale rises and goes straight for him. He knocks Juan down and throws him out the window like the others. A few moments later, Shale limps down the hallway, hurt but alive. Principal Rawl emerges from his office, shocked. Days later, Daryl visits Jane at her apartment. While they talk, he notices a photo of Jane with Shale on the wall. Suddenly, it all clicks. Daryl casually reveals the truth. Her substitute teacher, James Smith, was actually Shale all along. When Shale gets home, Jane confronts him. This time, he doesn't lie, he explains everything. The gang called Kings of Destruction has been selling drugs in the school, with Rawl involved. Together with Juan, they work for a drug boss named Johnny, a man who always stays one step ahead of the law. Shale tells Jane he's not just fighting for her or revenge. He wants to clean up the school and give the kids a real chance at a better life. Meanwhile, Shale's mercenary team is already in motion, tracking the KOD gang preparing for another drug deal. The team calls Shale for backup, and he rushes to the docks just in time. At the docks, Shale spots the same Native American man who attacked Jane. He's Johnny's brother. They're to deliver drugs to buyers arriving by boat. As the deal begins, Shale and his team strike. Shale and Holland go after the enforcer, while Joey takes on the buyers. They stop the deal, toss the drugs into the ocean, and walk away with the money. But Shale doesn't keep the cash. Instead, he uses it to buy sports gear, musical instruments, and school supplies to give the kids something real to hope for. The next morning, news of the failed drug deal quickly reaches Principal Rawl. Johnny calls, furious. His money is gone, his brother is dead, and he demands answers. He warns Rawl to fix this or face deadly consequences. Later that day, Rawl arrives at school just in time to hear Shale making a major announcement over the PA system. The school has received a huge donation from the Reclamation Committee, and to top it off, every student and staff member is getting free pizza. Rawl watches this with growing anger. Not just because Shale is getting praise, but because one still doesn't know what happened to the money or the deal. Raul knows that if the truth comes out, his career and possibly his life will be destroyed. Meanwhile, Shale is becoming a hero. Jerome now sees him as more than just a teacher. He's a mentor and friend. Daryl steps up too, now fully aware that James Smith is actually Jonathan Shale. He offers to help, especially if it means taking down the Kings of Destruction. Shale welcomes the support, but when he reveals Raul's involvement in the drug ring, Daryl shuts down. He accuses Shale of targeting Raul because Raul is black and running for office, seeing it as a personal attack. However, politics are the last thing on Raul's mind. He contacts Johnny and tells him that Shale is the one who ruined the deal and stole the money. That night, Johnny strikes back. He sends 2 hitmen to ambush Shale as he drives home. They open fire, causing Shale's car to spin out and crash into a nearby house. When Raul hears this, he is overjoyed. Finally, the problem seems solved. But Raul makes a deadly mistake. That same night, he locks up the school, unaware that Daryl and Lisa are still inside. The two head down to the basement security office to grab the master key and accidentally catch Raul and Juan loading school buses with drugs. Their noise gives them away. Raul quickly sends Juan and his gang after them. As they flee, Daryl thinks fast. He tells Lisa to hide under the stairs and wait. Before escaping, he urges her to find Shale and tell him everything. Daryl then runs off to distract the gang, leading them toward the gym. But it's a trap. Raul is already waiting. With no way out, Daryl is cornered and killed on the spot.
I didn't sell out my own people, motherfucker.
The next morning, Principal Raul sits comfortably in his office, convinced all his problems have vanished. But then Shale walks into the school, alive, well, and late. News spreads fast. Shale learns from Jerome and other students that Daryl is dead. Worse, Raul has already told the whole school that Shale was dead too, without offering any explanation. Shale tries to confront Raul immediately, but Raul is already gone. So is Juan, whom Raul sent to find Jane and uncover Shale's true identity. Sensing something's wrong, Shale asks Jerome to cover his class while he searches for answers. Suddenly, Lisa bursts in, pleading with Jerome to help find Shale because she has something urgent to tell him. Together, they head to Jane's apartment. Meanwhile, Shale tracks down Wolfson, who is out for a run. Shale chases him into the locker room, corners him, and demands the truth. Wolfson breaks under pressure, revealing that Raul has been working with Johnny Glades, a drug kingpin, using the school as a front to move drugs. He also confesses that Raul's corruption started years ago when he was a cop taking bribes from dealers. As Shale pieces everything together, Jane sends him a secret message, urging him to come home quickly. Shale rushes to Jane's apartment disguised as a deliver man. When Jane opens the door, he bursts inside and takes down one thug. But more attackers arrive, overpowering him and holding him at gunpoint. One shows up, and Jane reveals Shale is a mercenary. One is stunned. Why would mercenary pose as a teacher? When he tells Johnny, the drug lord orders Shale's death. Juan raises his gun, but Jane's landlady knocks on the door, distracting him just long enough for Shale to break free and take down the rest of the gang, except Juan. Juan grabs Jane, holding her at gunpoint. Shale can't get a clear shot. Just when all hope seems lost, a gunshot rings out. It's Jerome, but he grabbed a gun from a fallen gang member and fired the shot that saved Jane. With the chaos settling, Lisa pulls Shale aside and explains how Daryl was killed and who was behind it. Knowing time is running out, Shale takes Jane to his secret hideout for safety. Then he gears up and heads back to the school to destroy the remaining drugs. He calls in his team, ready for the final showdown. Meanwhile, at Johnny's shop, Juan's body is discovered stuffed inside a car parked right outside. Johnny, Raul, and their crew are shocked and furious. They immediately blame Shale. Back at the school, Shale has already made his move. He stations 3 of his men at key points around the building, then heads down to the basement with Holland. Together, they plan explosives in the tunnel where the drugs are hidden. When they hear Johnny's crew has surrounded the school, Shale leaves Holland to finish planting the bombs and goes to confront Raul himself. Raul tries to stall Shale, using the conversation as a distraction while his men sneak inside. But Shale's team spots the snipers just in time. The shootout erupts into pure chaos. Thanks to smart planning and fierce fighting, Shale's crew takes out most of the attackers. Sadly, 2 of Shale's teammates are killed. Meanwhile, Johnny and his men rush to the basement to secure the drugs, but fall right into Holland's trap. A massive explosion destroys the entire stash. Following Shale's orders, Holland spares Johnny's life but kills everyone else, clearly taking pleasure in it. As Holland mocks Johnny, Raul sneaks up from behind, shoots Holland, and frees Johnny. Now Shale is forced to face both of them. Shale corners Raul, but Johnny shoots Shale in the shoulder. It could have ended there, but Holland isn't done yet. Though barely alive, Holland rises, guns down Johnny, and dies soon after. With Johnny and his crew gone, the final battle is between Shale and Raul. Shale easily overpowers Raul. In the end, almost everyone in this bloody conflict is dead. Only Shale and Joey survive. As the two walk away from the wreckage, casually chatting about what's next, Shale jokes about heading to LA, maybe, pretending to be substitute teachers again and taking down another drug ring. Because for guys like them, the mission never really ends. So the moral of the story is, if you're a mercenary who can't get a job, just fake a resume, become a teacher, beat up some gangsters, blow up a drug tunnel under a high school, and call it community service.